Greetings, friends. It's a Monday, and it's time for the drive home. So I need to apologize for last week's video. I don't know what happened. My camera just freaked the hell out, and I think it was the image stabilization where it was just trying to overcompensate for being in a bouncy Jeep. I guess that must have been it. I really don't know what else might have caused it. It's also come to my attention there's a really good chance that you haven't been getting audio from my mic this whole time, just from the phone microphone itself, and that's because I guess when I did some research, Android does not like taking audio from an outside source when it's recording video. It just doesn't want to do it at all. So I'm attempting one right now. I believe it's working. Oh, good. A lot of people are leading me through here, so I might be able to weasel my way through. Woo! That was fun. So what it seems is that I have to. it's a process. I have to run one program for it to spoof my Bluetooth headset as the microphone, the one that's in the phone, and then I have to run another camera program that will actually accept an external microphone, as opposed to just hard accepting the one built into the phone. So hopefully this is working and everybody can hear me just fine. Traffic's a bit of a nightmare because my train was delayed, and it's amazing what a difference 10 minutes makes. I get delayed 10 minutes, and it takes me a little bit longer to get out of the area I'm in because of ferry traffic. Ferries are nice when you're on them. When you have to deal with the traffic surrounding them, they're kind of crap. No fun, no fun. So, what to discuss today? How was your weekend? Mine was pretty lazy. Video games. About what my weekends boil down to. Topics. Well, let's see here. You guys don't seem to care much for my life because I didn't get, I got one comment. So, and even then, I don't know. We'll see what I can come up with. Mainly 80s genre films was what it was, and why they're amazing, and which ones were my favorite. And I think the problem for me is I get confused between what came out in the 80s and what came out in the 90s. And since one of the goals of this particular series is to be candid and unscripted and right up in here for you, I don't have a list. I didn't bother to prepare. I don't know what's 80s. I don't know what's 90s. So I'm just going to go with fun genre films, I guess. Well, my all-time favorite, and this is just straight movies. It just coincidentally happened to have come out in the 80s. But my all-time favorite movie is Aliens. Oh, I love me some Aliens. Now, there is some good sci-fi right there. And like the special effects hold up. I still watch it every now and then. It's just a classic sci-fi film for me. I just really enjoy it, and it's hard to get that sort of storytelling nowadays. It just seems all contrived, I guess. I don't know. It's that level of sci-fi seems to have gone a little wayward. Although keep in mind, I haven't seen stuff like Interstellar, and I've heard Interstellar is good. I did see Prometheus, and I was not a fan. That one was kind of just didn't hold me. Just didn't seem to have held sway what the rest of that series. Well, up until Aliens has done. Alien 3 was it was all right. Alien 4 had some neat concepts, but overall was pretty silly. Not a whole lot going on for that. So then there's Prometheus. But hey, Blomkamp's coming out with or Blomkamp, whatever his name is. But he's coming out with an Aliens film that's going to have Sigourney Weaver in it and good old Michael Biehn. And at least I think so. I'm pretty sure they're slotted for it. I hope they are, because it sounds like it's going to be a true sequel. And they're basically taking 3 and 4 and throwing them out the window and going, those were just bad dream sequences. Nobody cares about those. So there we are. So I probably looks like I'm licking my lips a whole lot more. I was also blessed with a canker sore this morning on my lip, so it's a little difficult to talk. My teeth are constantly rubbing against it, so it hurts. but I'm willing to suffer for you. Um, and because talking's just an everyday thing, and I've got to learn to do it anyways. So there we are. So other genre films. I guess sci-fi and fantasy were both pretty big then. And again, if I get these confused, just leave me alone. All right, I wasn't paying attention. The decades kind of slipped in between each other. But so for sci-fi, you've got that. On the other end of the spectrum of sci-fi is Buckaroo Banzai and the Nth Dimension. Man, there is a classic for you. If you haven't seen it, that's just a grand old. It was like kind of like Hollywood's attempt at making a comic book movie without having a comic book to base it on, but pretending like there was a comic book it was based on. And that was a blast. That one's really good. You want the modern equivalency of it? Go see Ultraviolet as well, and I'm talking about the action movie with Mila Jovovich, not the BBC miniseries about vampires. That's another one where they made a comic book movie with no comic book, and if you go into it thinking, okay, this is just a visual representation of a comic book, it's a great movie. If you're going in there thinking, oh no, this is going to be a hard sci-fi flick or some sort of sci-fi action film or whatever, and not taking into that comic book campiness, it's not going to work for you, trust me. So there's that. Fantasy, Willow. Willow is a fantastic fantasy movie. It's so good. And it's so hard to... my wife was saying, if you want to do fantasy nowadays, you have to have a novel based on it. You have to have a fan backing behind it. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And nobody's even going to bother. Nobody's even going to bother to make the fantasy film if it doesn't already have that audience behind it. And I guess it's just one of those genres that, it's fantasy, so it's expensive. Everybody needs, all the set pieces need to be different, all the clothing needs to be different, all the props. If you're bothering with magic, you got all sorts of special effects and stuff you have to throw in there. So sci-fi, you can kind of fake it to a certain degree. You buy jogging suits or jumpsuits or something like that, and there you've got your wardrobe, but you can't do that with fantasy stuff. You got to make sure you got your tunics and your breeches and your chainmail coifs and all that other stuff. So, but Willow's a great genre movie. I'm trying to think of what else is considered a genre movie, because I don't. It was like when somebody was telling me that they had a genre writing class or a creative writing class, but they weren't allowed to do any genre writing. I'm just sitting there aghast, going, how everything is a genre, everything is contained within a genre. So how do you not have genre writing in a creative writing class? It's just, you're not doing creative writing then. You're not being very creative because you're not allowed to be. You're stifling your creativity, and anytime you stifle creativity, I call bullshit. But there we are. So now we have reached the end of today's video. I hope the experiment passed. I hope everything went well. Check over the video and make sure it's not too crazy, but go ahead, as always, leave your comments below. Leave me topics you wish for me to talk about. Tell me about your favorite genre films as well, and I'll see you guys at home.